Today I'm going to show you how you can create particles in your Final Cut Pro projects to use in conjunction with the magnetic mask. This is a look that I showed you in a video where I give you 5 fresh ideas for the magnetic mask, and a lot of you were interested to know how you could create these particles in Apple Motion and publish them to Final Cut, so that's what I'm going to show you today. As always, all of the members of my Patreon community and the higher tier of my YouTube channel memberships will get access to this working file that you see me work on here today and all of the motion projects you've ever seen me do here on YouTube. Now, if you're interested in just the working file for this specific tutorial, then you can actually purchase that individually on Patreon now. That's like a new thing they're doing where you can just like buy an individual post so you don't have to join the whole community if that's interesting to you. Okay, enough chit chat. Let's just dive right into it. So here are my project settings. I'm going to make this a 4K project with a 60 frames per second frame rate, and my duration is 10 seconds. And we are going to make this particle emitter a Final Cut generator. All right, let's hit open. And I'm going to save this in my Jenn's generator category, and I'm going to call this particle emitter. All right, first thing I want to do is head down to my shape tools, and I'm going to draw a circle in the center of my frame. In the inspector window, let's turn off the outline and add a fill. And in the properties tab, I'm going to reset this parameter so it is centered. And on the shape, I think I made my circle a little big. I'm going to dial down the radius. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is make this circle an emitter. So I'm just going to head up to the top right of the UI and hit Make Particles. By the way, if you're watching this video, but you're not really a strong Apple Motion user and you want to know more about it, you might want to check out my course, Motion Launchpad. It's a really good ground up education in Apple Motion so that this tutorial you're watching here on my channel or any other of my motion tutorials or anybody else's motion tutorials will make a lot more sense to you. Let's change the shape of this from point to line. So if I run my playhead, it's kind of hard to tell that this is a line, but we now have these new start and end point parameters that we can modify, which I'm going to do now. I'm going to make the start point X value negative 2160 and the end point positive 2160. And now you can see this is much more of a line shape. Hey, it's me coming to you from the future. For whatever reason, at this point in my recording of this video, I felt the need to go through a bunch of the parameters on the emitter and explain what they all do. And it's just way too long to publish here on YouTube. So I'm going to put an extended edition of this tutorial on my Patreon and for my channel members here on YouTube. I just don't know that this tutorial needs it. It's already so long. If you're looking for that information, you can find it there, okay? All right, let's keep going. All right, let's go back to the emitter, and I'm going to start publishing parameters that I think we're going to be able to want to modify in Final Cut Pro. And I'm not going to publish everything because at some point it's like you might as well just open Motion and make changes, but I want to think about some more simple things that I think I'd want to be able to adjust. So I'm not going to publish the shape parameter because the way I'm personally going to be using this emitter, the line shape will always make the most sense. But I do want to publish the birth rate, the initial number, the life. I'm going to crank up to 10, but I'm not going to publish that. I'm just going to leave it at 10. The speed, I'm going to crank up to 1,000. And I'm going to publish that as well. And publish the speed randomness. I want to publish the angle and the angle randomness and the spin and spin randomness. And I also want to publish the scale and scale randomness. Let's go back to the properties tab. And I also know that I'm going to want to be able to change the position of my emitter. So I'm going to publish that as well. Now let's select project in our project pane, head on over to the project tab, and I want to drag the position parameter to the top. So this is the order in which all of these settings will appear when we publish this generator to Final Cut Pro. So in thinking about how this is going to work for us in Final Cut Pro, I want to give you some basic shapes that you can use as particles in your Final Cut projects. So I want to give you the option to have these circles built in, something else built in, but I also want to give you the option to have a custom shape or a custom image. So we're going to be doing some rigging. So down here under particle source circle, I'm going to drop down and I'm going to add to rig, create new rig, and add to new pop-up. Now in the inspector, we have the widget tab and it's set to snapshot 1. I'm going to rename that to circles. And now I want to offer the option to make these particles sparkles. So I'm going to head on over to the Library tab, and under Content, I'm going to search Spark, and I'm going to pick Spark number 6. This is my favorite. And I'm going to drag and drop that into my project pane. Let's go back to the pop-up in our project pane and head on over to the inspector. And now let's add this Spark 06 to our rig. So under the pop-up line, we're going to drop down and select Snapshot 2. I'm going to rename this Sparkle. Then I'm going to hit Start Edit Mode, and I'm going to drag that spark into the source well. And then I'm going to hit Stop Rig Edit Mode. So watch what happens in my canvas when I switch between the sparkle and go back to the circle. I have these two options. But remember, I also said I wanted to give you the opportunity to make your own images particles as well. So we're going to do that by adding a drop zone. So we're going to head on up to Add Object at the top of the screen and select Drop Zone. I'm going to drag it in my project pane underneath our spark. And before we add this to our rig, there's a few things we need to do. I'm going to select my project pane, head on over to properties. First of all, it's huge. It's taking up the entire screen. Let's reduce the size on this down to 10%. So it's nice and small. And in addition, the drop zone is cropped to make it a 16:9 aspect ratio. And we don't want that because it'll end up cropping your image. If we expand the crop values here, you can see that the crop has been applied. I can either uncheck it or I could bring those sliders down. I'm just going to uncheck it. But now we can see our drop zone is now square, which is definitely what you want. Let's go back to our pop-up rig in the project pane and let's drop down to Snapshot 3, rename, and I'm going to call this Custom. And then again, I'm going to start rig edit mode and I'm going to drag that drop zone into the source well. And then I'm going to stop rig edit mode. And then we're just going to check and make sure that everything looks the way we want. The one thing we do need to do in our project pane is disable our Spark 6 and drop zones. And that does not affect the way the emitter works. All right, our rig is working properly. The last thing we need to do is actually publish it. Let's go back to project to check. And I want to reorder these. I want the pop-up to be above the drop zone field. And I want to rename this particle. Okay, a few more things I want to add to this generator. You can see as I run my playhead along the timeline, my circles are going every which way. I actually want to create the ability to either travel downward or upward. And we're going to do that using the gravity behavior. So I'm going to select the emitter in my project pane, head on up to behaviors, simulation, and gravity. Let me just show you really quick how the gravity behavior works. By default, it's set to an acceleration of 30, but if I crank it really high, really high, all of my particles are falling downward. If I bring it to a negative value, all of my particles are traveling upward. This is going to be really important for helping us control the direction of our particles. So I am going to publish this parameter as well. And one other element I want to add to our emitter is the ability to blur them out. Being able to soften up your particles can really help sell your look. I always say, when in doubt, blur it out. So I'm selected on the emitter in my project pane. Let's head over to Filters, Blur, and I'm going to add a blur here. And I'm going to publish the amount. Let's head back up to Project in our project pane and the Project tab to look at those published parameters. And let's rename those published parameters so they make sense to us when we use this generator in Final Cut Pro. I'm going to call this one Gravity Pull. And for amount, this is the blur, right? So I'm going to call this blur. And now what I want to do is play with these values here in my published parameters, because whatever we set these numbers to now in motion is what the defaults are going to be when we open this generator in Final Cut. So first and foremost, I'm going to queue up my play toward the beginning of my timeline, and I want to change the Y value. I, by default, am going to want my particles to be starting out of frame. So I'm going to change that Y value to 1300. So they're just out of frame. I'm going to leave the birth rate set to 30, but I want to increase the initial number to 100. And the blur, I'm going to drag down to 0. Everything else, I'm going to leave the same. So now when I run my playhead, you can see that my particles are coming from the top of the frame. But there may be instances where you don't want the particles to build in, you want them to just be in the frame already. So we're going to have to do some really tricking rigging to make this happen and also make the speed constant throughout the duration of our generator. So for reasons that are too complex to explain in this tutorial, you can't just put a build-in marker here on your timeline, because what will happen is that the parameters before your build-in marker at the beginning of this timeline will have one set of values, and then everything after the build out marker will have a second set of values, and it will not look good if you change the length of your generator in Final Cut Pro to either shorter or longer than 10 seconds. So we're going to have to do some creative rigging here. Now, if you don't mind that these build in, you can stop here. I just want to tell you that, because the next section of this is a little complex, but I'm going to walk you through it. So what I'm going to do is rename this group, and I'm going to call it building in. Okay. And then I'm going to collapse this group. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to duplicate the group, and I'm going to rename this group no build in. Now I want to disable this building in group so we can't see it. And I want to select the no build in. And here's what I want to do. I want to take it in my timeline, and I want to drag that group back in time before our timeline even starts, so that when I queue up my playhead to the beginning of the timeline, all of my particles are still there. Okay. And then I want to take this whole group and I want to extend it to the length of my timeline. So just to recap, I've disabled my building in group. This is the original group we have. And I've enabled my no build in. And so this is what it looks like at the very beginning. If I disable the no build in and enable the build in group, this is what it looks like. Now they all fall in. Okay, so we have two options now, and we're going to create a rig so we can switch between these two options. So what we're going to do is select the building in group, head on over to properties, and on the opacity line, I'm going to add to rig, add to new checkbox. So now in our project pane, we have a new checkbox here. Then I'm going to select my no build in group, and under properties, opacity, we are going to add to rig, add to the checkbox. And now when we select the checkbox in our project pane, we have both of those groups now in our rig. So this is what I want to do. I want to enable both of my groups, okay? I want to enable the checkbox and start the rig edit mode. And I want to dial down the opacity of the no build in group. And then I'm going to stop rig edit mode. Then what I'm going to do is uncheck the checkbox, hit start, and I'm going to dial down this time the building in opacity and stop rig edit mode. So now when I check the box, we have the particles building in. And when I uncheck it, the particles already exist. And now we need to just publish that checkbox. Let's head back to the published parameters. And you can see we've got that checkbox here. I'm going to drag it to the very top of my published parameters, and I'm going to rename it build in. So it's going to feel just like a normal build in marker, but we had to build it manually. Sometimes you just have to do workarounds in Motion. All right, the next thing we need to do is going to be a little bit tedious, but I'm here to walk you through it. We need to link all of these published parameters that we published in the original emitter. Remember, we published the birth rate, the initial number, the speed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We need to now link those same parameters in our new group to the parameters in our original group. So when we make adjustments to these values in Final Cut Pro, no matter which group you're working with, whether you're building in or not building in, those adjustments are going to affect your particles. So what I want you to do is scroll down on your emitters in your project pane, and you're going to focus on this circle and this circle down here. So the one that says circle with the concentric circles next to it. Let's go into your no build-in group, select that circle, and let's start with birth rate. You want to drop down here, add parameter behavior, and add a link behavior. So the link behavior is going to link two parameters together. So in the source well, I'm going to drag the circle from our original group, and now we've linked these two birth rates together. So if we head on over to project and I play with the birth rate, even though I'm on our second no build-in group, right? And I know that because I don't have the box checked, I am affecting the birth rate. Let me reset that. And so now what you need to do is link all of those parameters we published. And I would recommend that you right click and just duplicate that link behavior. Then you'll never have to drag the circle again. And the next one we published was the initial number. And you want to set them both to initial number and then duplicate again and just go through all of those parameters. I know it's a lot. So by the time you're done, you should have 10 link behaviors on that circle. All right, the other thing, if you go back to the published parameters, you'll remember is that we published the position of the entire emitter. So we're going to want to select that emitter, head on over to properties, on position, add parameter behavior, link, drag the original emitter into the source well, and link the position. And then the last thing we need to do is link the gravity behavior and the blur as well. So select the gravity and link that, and select the blur, and on the amount, we're going to link those. Okay, everything here looks good. And let's open Final Cut Pro. So here is the shot that we're going to be working with in Final Cut Pro. It's this winter wonderland scene, and while it clearly has snowed, it's not currently snowing. So we are going to add some snow flurries into this shot, and we're going to layer them using the magnetic mask to make it more realistic. So the first thing I'm going to do is duplicate my two shots, and I'm going to isolate the top shot, and let's apply the magnetic mask to this couple. And while this is analyzing, if you like this video, you feel like you're learning something, but you haven't yet subscribed, what are you even doing? Hit that subscribe button. All right, let's move on to the next shot. And in this case, we're going to mask out the child, but not their sled. And then let's enable all of our shots, head over to our generators and drag that particle emitter between the bottom shot on our primary storyline and the next shot up. And if I run my playhead, you can see that the particles are landing underneath the people in the shot who we masked out. Let's select that clip, head on over to the generators inspector, and I'm going to change the particle from circles to sparkle. And if you look really close, I'm going to scale these up. You can see that the sparkles have this kind of weird black edge around them. What I'm going to do is head over to the video inspector and change the blend mode from normal to lighten. And now they look a lot more realistic. Let's head back over to the generator. And I'm going to increase the birth rate on these guys. And I'm going to increase the scale randomness just a bit. And remember what I said earlier, when in doubt, blur it out. Let's add a little bit of softness to these guys. Now I'm going to duplicate those particles and stack it in between the next two shots. So I'm alternating between my live action video and my particles. These are the particles that are going to land between the child and the parents. So I'm going to reduce the birth rate on these. I'm going to increase the gravity pull. I'll increase the scale just a nudge, and I'm going to blur these a little bit more. And one more time, let's duplicate those particles. These ones are going to land over our entire shot. I'm going to reduce the birth rate. I'm going to scale these up, and I'm going to really increase the scale randomness. I'm going to increase the gravity, and I'm going to blur them a lot more. They're going to feel like they're right in front of the camera. So there is our particle emitter with a magnetic mask. Thanks for watching, you guys. Drop me a comment and say hi. I love hearing from you. I picked out another video I think you're going to like here, and I'm going to let YouTube pick out something it thinks you'll like down here. See you soon.